You're listening to The Bloodshed Baddies.
Hi, I'm Lex,
And I'm Sam.
and we are the Bloodshed Baddies.
What's up, baddies?
Hi, baddies. I hope you all had a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
This will be our first episode of the new year.
But we're still recording in last year.
We are in the past.
You're in the future.
So I was thinking about books because you know how sometimes your New Year's resolution is like reading books and stuff, and I actually just got done reading/listening to two really good books. So I was thinking we could give two good book recommendations to start this one off.
Oh, good one. Why don't you start with yours and I'll look through my story graph while you do that.
Perfect. And if you read these, Lex, chime in because Lexi is definitely a stronger reader than I am. I don't read as much as she does. Lexi reads like all the time, but I am close up there. But the first book is the one I listened to, which I highly recommend if you like listening to books because it's in her own voice. It's Know My Name by Chanel Miller. Have you listened or read that one, Lex?
No.
1000% recommend. She is the Emily Doe in the Brock Turner case.
Oh my gosh.
It is very good. You need to be in a good headspace because it is very dark. It's very real, very raw. She's like very open and honest about her feelings, and it's incredible. Highly, highly, highly recommend.
Oh, that's interesting.
And then the second book I wanted to recommend is, you know, Lexi, I love Frederick Backman.
Oh, I do too.
He is an amazing author. If you've never read anything by him, baddies, do so. Beartown is like a 3 series book. It's like
It's
my,
so amazing.
yeah,
It's so amazing.
one of my fave series, one of my fave books ever. But he came out with a new book recently called My Friends, and it is just as amazing, just as incredible. Everything he says makes you want to like tear up and well up, and I just highly, highly, highly recommend.
His writing is probably some of the most beautiful writing I've ever read.
He's an amazing, amazing writer, and it's like a I don't want it to dumb it down to like an easy read, but you know what I mean, Lex. Like it's
Yeah.
very easy to follow and has such deep meaning that you can get from these simplistic words that are it's just beautiful.
Yes.
So those my two.
Okay. My two are going to be, as some of you listening can probably relate to, a couple years ago, I decided to pick up the ACOTAR series to see what it was all about and have fallen deep into a fantasy world of reading. I never read fantasy books before that. And now I not only read romanticities, but I am reading like a straight fantasy right now. But that's not which one I'm going to recommend. I recently read for a book club I'm in, Phantasma. Phantasma. I'm not exactly sure how to say it.
Ooh.
It is a fantasy book, and the main character in it has OCD,
Ooh.
which is really cool because I have OCD. And you don't see it represented a lot in mainstream media, besides the like, I have to wash my hands kind, which there's a lot of different kinds of OCD.
Yes.
So this one does a really, really great job of explaining like what it's like to live with OCD, and also is just like a really great book. And the romance in it is chef's kiss.
All right, I might have to add that one.
And then the other book I want to read is, or want to recommend, is it's called Doll Parts by Penny Zhang. This is it's her first book. I actually was in a different book club that I'm not in anymore, and she actually like joined our Zoom for that book club, so we got to like ask her questions and learn about it.
Ooh.
But the book is really interesting. It's like a mystery crime thriller, and it is all kinds of messed up, and it will keep you on the edge of your seat, and it's like dark academia romance or as well.
Did you tell me about this book? Why does this book sound familiar?
Yes, I told
Okay.
you to read it.
I
Yeah.
was gonna say I heard that this book is really good, and I like what I heard about it is it's on my list of books to read.
Yes, it's very good. I highly recommend. She's a really, really great author. And in the little Zoom thing, she told us that she's working on her second book. So I'm excited to see that too.
Yay, how cool.
Yes.
We love reading, so if you guys have any book recommendations, throw them our way as well. But thought that it would just be a fun, different way to start us off.
Yeah. I feel like we haven't talked about books on this podcast in a while too.
It's
So
been so long.
yeah,
All right. Ready?
I am ready. So, Sam,
Oh.
I sorry about it,
Oh.
but we are doing an unsolved missing persons case.
You know, it's okay.
This one you can blame on your brother because this was recommended to us by our brother Jake. Shout out to Jake.
What up, Jake? Also, my next episode will be a Jake shout out episode as well.
Woo! Jake's raking in the recommendations over here. But he gave us a few recommendations, and as I was looking through this one, I just knew I had to do it. It is something I never heard of and is so mysterious.
Ooh, I'm kind of intrigued. Even though I hate these kind of cases, I'm intrigued, baddies.
Well, we get to go through theories at the end. I feel like you do like going through the theories at the end.
I do love the theories.
Yeah. Okay, are you ready?
Yeah.
We are going to talk about the disappearance of Sneha and Philip. Sneha Ann Phillip was born on October 7th, 1969, in Kerala, India.
Ooh.
3 years later, her life and the trajectory of her family's life changed dramatically when her father won a visa lottery for foreign doctors.
Okay.
So the family relocated to the United States and they settled into a life shaped by high expectations, discipline, and academic achievement.
Okay. Awesome. Awesome. That's like pretty cool. I didn't know there would be like a lottery like that.
I didn't know either. Sneha grew up in a conservative household, but even early on, she pushed gently against its boundaries. She attended private schools, ran track, and played both the flute and the piano.
Musical.
She was widely described as brilliant and strikingly beautiful, but also deeply creative. She was an artist and a poet, fluent in five languages, and known for her emotional intensity.
So she's a baddie.
She's a baddie. After high school, Sneha attends Johns Hopkins University. She was officially on a pre med track, but she also majored in creative writing. And this was an early hint that her ambitions might not align neatly with the future others envisioned for her.
Super cool though that she has like these both sides because like usually you know you either are like super scientific or like super artistic in some way like with writing and art and all that kind of stuff and it seems like she has both which is super cool.
She was socially active in college, serving as the treasurer of her sorority. Her family later insisted that she had always wanted to be a doctor. Friends and classmates, however, recalled something different. Sneha talked openly about wanting to be an artist instead.
So like maybe the familiar pressures are why she went into the pre-med.
Yes. And I think this is very cultural. I think a lot of families from like Southeastern Asian communities really want their kids on a doctor track, and their kids might not always want that. I remember my RA in college. He was pre med and then also majoring in music because he wanted to do music, and his parents told him he couldn't unless he was also going to school to become a doctor.
So wild if you think about that. Like
Yeah.
I get it from a culture aspect 1,000%. But wild.
Yes. She went on to attend Chicago Medical School, where she met her fellow medical student, Rob Lieberman. The two began dating, and by all outward appearances, they were building a conventional life together.
Aw.
But Sneha did not move through life conventionally. At one point during medical school, she took a full year off to travel to Tuscany, Italy, to paint.
I want to be her.
Yeah.
Taking a year off, bye.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. During that year abroad, Rob visited her and proposed.
Aw.
Sneha accepted, and she eventually returned to Chicago, completed medical school, and the two graduated together. They moved to New York City to begin their medical residencies. In 2000, Sneha and Rob were married, and by 2001, they were living just blocks from the World Trade Center.
So they're just like doing awesome in life, basically.
On the outside, yes.
Oh.
On September 10th, 2001, Sneha spent nearly 2 hours chatting with her mother online via instant messenger. At approximately 5:15 p.m., she left her apartment. Her next confirmed stop was the Century 21 department store located across from the World Trade Center. Surveillance footage shows Sneha inside the store at 7:18 p.m. purchasing a dress, lingerie, bedding, and shoes.
Okay.
The footage also captures another woman near Sneha. Whether the two were shopping together is still unclear. A store clerk told police that Sneha appeared to be with another woman, approximately 5'2", with dark hair, possibly of Indian descent. But the clerk later walked that statement back, saying she wasn't certain if they were actually together or if they were just both shopping at the same time near each other.
Which is wild because you think that by this time they would find this other woman and like, were you guys together or not?
This woman has never been identified.
Never ever? Well, yeah, because then
Never.
they would know. Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's bizarre.
Sometime later that night, Sneha vanished. When Rob returned home between 11 and 11:30 p.m., Sneha was not there, but he didn't immediately panic. In fact, he was angry. In the weeks leading up to her disappearance, Sneha had been staying out late and sometimes sleeping at a family member's house without telling him. According to Rob, this was a point of tension in their marriage and something they were actively working on. But Sneha never came home that night.
And this was September 10th, 2001?
Yes.
Okay.
The next morning, everything changed. After the first plane struck the World Trade Center, Rob began to reach out to Sneha. He called their apartment, no answer. He called family members, no one had seen her. He was working at a hospital like outside of the city, and they had been prepping all day basically because they thought they were going to get all of these injuries, but they were too, I think they were just like all the traffic and stuff, people couldn't get to them.
Yeah.
So he stayed there most of the day, and then he returned to the apartment late that night, and Sneha was still gone. And he ended up staying with a friend that night because he actually couldn't get into his apartment building. It was all like blocked off because their apartment building was 900 feet from the trade center.
900 feet?
Yeah. So like when he got back into his apartment, it was like either like the next day or a couple days later. Like everything was fine in the apartment. It was just like covered with dust because they had left their window open.
Also, like, so like his wife, obviously there was some issues there. Like, he's like, this is common. She like doesn't come home on time all the time. But she goes missing September 10th late at night. September 11th happens. Like, the police and people are busy. You know what I mean? Like, they're not.
That's what a lot of people say, that this has gotten kind of swept under the rug and didn't get really a lot of attention because obviously the next day was news,
Yeah, like
worldwide
that's
news.
not.
Yeah.
Everyone's freaking out, especially if they live that close to the trade centers. Like, unfortunately for her, that was the focus on media, on everybody, first responders, like everyone was out there helping. Like, ooh, this is already very messy.
Eerie is the word
Yes.
I used to describe this case. Initially, Sneha was believed to be a victim of the September 11th attacks. Her name was added to the list of missing. Her brother told police that Sneha had been last seen running towards the Twin Towers to help others.
Her brother?
He later admitted that this was not true, that he fabricated the story in hopes of drawing attention to her case.
Not the best idea, brother, because in a way, she's a hero. Everyone go find her. But now you're messing with the investigation. And that's like, you can get in trouble for that, buddy. Like, that's not what you should be doing. That's going to lead people to thinking that she was in a place where she wasn't. That's going to ruin the investigation.
There is no evidence that Sneha was ever at the World Trade Center on September 11th. And in this case, that becomes a pattern.
And was she added to the list because what the brother said? I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Okay.
As investigators began digging deeper into Sneha's life, the image of a college young doctor unraveled.
Oh, boy.
Her internship, so her and Rob were both fellows. So they were in their like fellow programs. They weren't quite doctors yet. They were doing their fellowship.
I've seen Grey's Anatomy. I know what a fellowship is. I'm just kidding.
Yeah. She's Izzy and George on season 1. No.
They were interns.
That she has too. So her internship at Cabrini Medical Center had not been renewed, reportedly due to chronic tardiness and alcohol-related issues.
Was not expecting that.
She had been required to see a substance abuse counselor, but she skipped an appointment and as a result was suspended from her new position at St. Vincent's Medical Center.
And honestly, like, I could be wrong. Like, it could have been a situation that was blown out of proportion. But, like, when it comes into, like, work and then, like, you're skipping appointments and things like that, then, like, usually it's a problem then.
Yes.
Eek.
Sneha was also struggling with depression and seeing a therapist. And when they looked at court records, it also revealed additional concerns. Sneha had been going out to bars late at night, often leaving with the woman that she met there.
Oh.
So she was having extramarital affairs with women. She had recently spent a night in jail following a bar fight. And she had also been charged with filing a false complaint after accusing a coworker of groping her. And that case would be critical to the timeline. So she had, on a night out with coworkers, had said that one of her male coworkers had followed her into the bathroom and tried to kiss her. She later recanted that statement, which I always go on the side of let's believe the women. And this was also 2001. So I do believe there was probably pressure by the police and her work to recant this statement. However, at the time, she was living in the same apartment complex on the same floor with this coworker. And she went and walked into his apartment and sat on the couch, refusing to leave. And then once she finally left, called the wife like 6 times in a row.
So, regardless if the groping happened or didn't happen, a very messy situation, it appears.
Yes.
It also appears that she, living this double life of like, this is who I am on the outside, is catching up to her extremely. Like, that's why she's going down this dark path right now.
Yes, she's literally living 2 lives. She's living the I'm a straight married doctor and I am a lesbian artist.
Yes.
And they're not meshing, these 2 very separate lives.
No, which is probably where, or part of the reason depression and the substance abuse is now intermixed as well.
Yes. On the morning of September 10th, just hours before she disappeared, Sneha was at court for that charge of filing a false complaint against her coworker.
Oh, wow. Hours?
Mm-hmm. That morning, 10:30 a.m. 10:30 a.m., she pleaded not guilty. She pled not guilty? Pled not guilty.
I think pled.
Why did I write pleaded?
Like a skirt?
The case was adjourned to a later date. According to police reports, Sneha and Rob argued at the courthouse and she stormed off.
Her husband?
Yes, her and her husband argued on the steps of the courthouse, stormed off.
Okay.
Between 10:30 and 11:30, Sneha and Rob walked back to the apartment and they stopped at a bank along the way. Surveillance shows her withdrawing $100 from an ATM. Rob said they split that money. They got home, and then shortly after, Rob had to leave for work.
Okay.
Police were also told that Sneha's brother had gotten into an argument with her weeks earlier after walking in on her engaged in sexual activities with his girlfriend.
This is messy. Could be a TV show.
Yeah. But then suddenly, all those details began to disappear. Over time, Sneha's family and Rob began denying many of the claims initially made to police. They disputed that Sneha had a drinking problem. They denied that she was in relationships with women. And Rob said the courthouse argument never happened. Her brother retracted his statement about catching Sneha with his girlfriend. In fact, he said that he never told police officers that at all, and then went on to say that he actually never spoke to the police officer at all, which there are records of the police officer speaking to him.
I was just going to say, wouldn't there be some type of record?
Her brother also changed his story multiple times about when he had last spoken to her, sometimes saying a week before, other times claiming it had been over a month. The narrative just kept shifting.
Okay, one, I'm very intrigued to hear theories because I have a thought, but I'm going to wait until theories. Two, I can understand from a parent perspective being like, I'm going to deny these substance abuse claims and things like that because you don't want your daughter's image to be a negative one in these times.
Yes. And I think so much of the people in Sneha's life, including her family and her husband, were trying to get this straight woman married in med school, becoming medical doctors together, life is perfect narrative. And when those details leaked out to media, they quickly just backed it all up and was like, no, no, no. It was the picture perfect life we all saw. There was nothing underneath the surface.
Yes, especially if like she felt so much pressure to live this picture perfect life, like they're going to obviously have pressure to put that out to the world.
In 2004, Sneha was officially removed from the list of 9/11 victims due to the insufficient evidence that she was at the World Trade Center. As a result, her family became ineligible for the compensation for the September 11 Victim Compensation Fund.
I think fair.
The family really fought this decision, insisting that it wasn't about money. In 2008, an appeals court reversed the ruling. Sneha Ann Phillip was reinstated as the 2,751st victim of the September 11th attacks.
In a way, I almost feel that since there's no evidence and things like that, that's not fair to the 270 victims that
2,000.
were, or I'm sorry, 2,700 victims that were actually victims of this terrible terrorist attack.
I think, again, and this is just my opinion, I'm not saying anything negative on the family because I don't know what I would do if my loved one disappeared September 10th, just, half a day before the attacks of 9/11 happened, 900 feet from where the attacks happened. But I, again, think we're really clinging on to this hero image.
Yeah.
Which may not be the case.
Yes, that's better said than what I said. Yes.
Okay. Theories. I got 4 big theories. Theory number 1, she died on 9/11. To me, this theory faces a very major obstacle. She had not been seen since the night of September 10th.
That's what's weird to me.
I can't get over that in my brain, that no one has come forward and said she was with me the night of September 10th. So I don't understand how she went from no one knowing where she was on September 10th to all of a sudden at the World Trade Centers at the exact time that the planes hit. But her family has offered several explanations for why she might have been near the towers.
Oh, I want to hear.
The first one is that she may have been walking home from wherever she stayed that night and was struck by debris. But we have no idea where she was that night.
1,000% agree.
So, how do we know that wherever she was that night, her walking path was on the way by the Twin Towers. And then also I listened to a podcast, which we'll have referenced, that did a lot of work on this case. It's actually 10 episodes. If you are not good with 911 calls, don't listen to episode 2 because it's all about 9/11 and it's got the real 911 calls from 9/11
Oof.
in it. It's very hard to listen to. I kind of wish I didn't watch or listen to it.
Yeah.
But they also said that the percentage of people struck by debris was like less than 1 that died from being struck by debris.
Yeah, I feel like if I don't know much about explosions and things like that, but like if you were walking home and you got struck by debris, somebody would have found your body probably. And then they would have tried everything to identify them, I'm sure, because there are lots of unidentified people, but I'm sure they did everything they could to identify these people. And if it was just like you got struck really bad in the head by debris, there's dental records, things like that, that I'm sure could have helped.
Yeah, you weren't like buried in the towers at that.
Yes.
Another theory they have is that she may have been shopping at the underground mall. There is a mall under the World Trade Center, but Rob has stated that they never shopped there. And then also the podcast point that I listened to pointed out that where the planes hit the building, everyone below those building, that part of the building, 99% of people evacuated and survived.
Oh, wow.
99% of people that were in the building under the floor where the plane hit evacuated and survived. So what are the chances that she was underground at the mall and is the 1% of people who didn't survive that?
Yeah, that would be. I think if Rob didn't come out and say like we never shopped there, I would find this one a little bit more plausible. Like, oh, yeah, maybe she went shopping for the day or get an outfit for the night. But with that coupled with the statistic you just gave,
Yes. They also said that she may have gone to the restaurant at the top of the tower because a friend was planning a wedding there 7 months later.
Possible if the friend was like, yeah, that's true. We met up there or we were going to meet up there and I was running late or something. You know what I mean? But like, I don't think that came out. So I don't think
it did not come out. And this seems very implausible to me. Again, because we don't know where she was the night before.
Yeah.
So she just woke up wherever she was at the night before, some mystery place that nobody's ever come out and said she was with me, and was like, oh, I think the planes hit at like 8 a.m. Yeah. So the first plane hit at 8:46 a.m. So she woke up and was like, on my way home, I'm going to go get breakfast at this restaurant at the top of the tower because my friend's getting married there in 7 months.
Yeah. And like I said, unless she was like, hey, we're going to plan to meet here to wedding plan, like that's like fun and exciting. But like you said, that didn't come out. So I don't believe she would just like do that on her own, like weird.
One of her brothers also suggested that there had been a South Asian community party at a nearby hotel and that maybe she had decided to stay at the hotel that night that was near the trade centers. A couple things that I find weird about this. The hotel was 900 feet from her apartment. So why would she book a hotel room instead of walking 900 feet to her apartment? Yeah. And also, there is no evidence that there was ever a party put on by the South Asian community.
Then no, I don't believe that. Yeah, because there would be some type of evidence on that. I'm sorry.
So while this theory to me seems very improbable, this is one theory that could possibly be proven one day. Roughly 40% of 9/11 victims remain unidentified because of how destroyed things got. And there's just like little pieces of human remains left from those people. And advances in DNA technology could someday provide answers.
I hope. Like I said, do I think it's possible? Yes, I do think it's possible that she was a victim in this case, but I lean more towards thinking no, for the mere fact that no one saw her the night before.
Theory number 2 is that she met with foul play on September 10th. So maybe something happened the night before the attacks. Was the unidentified woman from Century 21 footage involved?
Oh.
And for me, this isn't me saying like she killed Sneha. Maybe she did, maybe she didn't. I don't know her. Nobody knows who she is, apparently. But like, even maybe, they were romantically involved and they went out that night and came across somebody. This was 2001. Came across somebody who wasn't super open to the idea of women being together.
Yeah.
Or maybe she was catching a cab home from that woman's house and that woman later died in 9/11 and that's why she's never come forward. Who knows? But I do think it's very likely that something happened on the night of September 10th.
I would agree too. And I do think that I didn't even think about the Century 21 lady possibly being a victim of 9/11, and that's why they didn't find her.
Yes. And a lot of people argue that like Manhattan was very, very safe at this time, but things happen everywhere all the
Oh, yeah.
time. And I know that maybe there wasn't like a killer running rampant, but she could have just been in the wrong place at the wrong time. Another kind of theory about the foul play met is it was confirmed afterwards that she was also on drugs. So did she overdose at a party and the people there covered it up because they didn't want to get in trouble?
That happens time and time again, people.
Yeah. So to me, this theory makes the most sense just because no one has come forward and been like, she stayed with me. She was with me. Or I saw her at this bar. She was out here. Like, it's just so wild to me that she just disappeared off the face of the earth.
I agree with that 1,000%. I think that something happening that night makes more sense to me. The fact that her husband said like this was a common thing they fought about, like she didn't come home at appropriate times. I don't know. This is a hard one. This is a tough one.
Mm-hmm. Theory number 3, she ran away. Sneha was unhappy. Her career was unraveling. Her marriage was strained. She didn't want to be a doctor. Some of her colleagues who were interviewed for the podcast believed that she was completely capable of starting over and that the chaos of 9/11 may have provided her the perfect opportunity to disappear.
I could honestly see it again with all the ones I'm saying I could see it. However, I feel like even in 2001, it's really hard to just like completely go off the grid and disappear.
It is. They had somebody on who wrote a book. It's called Playing Dead, and it's about how to fake your own death.
Oh my
And
gosh.
I want to read it now. I didn't have a chance to read it before we did this because I just listened to the podcast episode like a week ago, and it's been the holidays. But I really, really want to read it. I think it'd be really interesting. She said that it would be really hard. She did talk about how she has interviewed a lot of people for the book that actually successfully faked their own death for a while and then somehow came out later that it wasn't.
Wow.
She said that it's really hard to like talk about how successful it is because the only people she can talk to are the people who people believe they were dead for many years and then they came out later. She said the majority of people who disappear are men that we know of. Again, the people who are
Yeah.
unsuccessful. A lot of times they come back because they can't keep their mouth shut. So they brag to somebody about it.
Typical.
And the main reasons are money. So they are in on it with somebody else to get the insurance claim and then they come back to get the money. Money is a big one. They're in trouble with the law. And then a lot of people are looking for them. So then it's harder to disappear. And
Yeah.
that sometimes love. So I got a second family. I'm just going to disappear from my first family, fake my death, and go to my second family.
Which she had two lives.
And she said that the main reason women run away is threat of violence. So a lot of women in domestic violence situations, and a lot of those people don't ever come back. So we don't know how successful they actually are because they don't want to say.
Because they're afraid for their lives.
Yeah. A lot of people don't believe this theory too because they said that Sneha was so close with her mother, she would never do that to her mother. But Sneha also, to me, was living a double life.
She was.
So,
A
like,
1000%.
I'm sure she didn't call her mom and say, I got wasted today and got fired from work. I'm sure she didn't call her mom and say, I missed my meeting with my substance abuse counselor. I'm sure she didn't call her mom and say, hey, I am cheating on my husband with multiple other women.
Yep.
So I'm unsure.
Agree.
But the fourth theory is the theory that I think is the most implausible theory.
Oh,
I think the fourth theory is that Sneha committed suicide because she was depressed and overwhelmed. This is, I think, the thing I say every single time we have a missing persons case and there's a theory that it's suicide. Where's the body?
yes. Because you would find it by now. You would.
Yep.
You would.
More than 2 decades later, there's no definitive evidence pointing in any direction. Sneha Ann Phillip didn't just vanish into tragedy, she vanished into uncertainty. And that may be the most unsettling part of all.
Ew, yes. And can I tell you my observation that I had when I said I want to wait until theories?
Yes.
And this is an observation, not a theory. I want to make that clear, people. But I do think it's somewhat interesting that the brother found Sneha with his girlfriend and then lied to the police about the last time he saw her.
Okay. So I thought this too when I was like listening to the podcast and learning about all this. And there is nowhere that I could find that has this theory anywhere that the brother has anything to do with it. So I don't know if he's been cleared. I don't I don't know.
And again, I don't want to say like, oh, this is my theory because I'm not trying to throw anybody's family member under the bus because I know they
Yeah.
already have been through enough.
I was surprised too that none of the theories pointed to Rob, her
Yeah,
husband, because like only because it's always the husband. And like obviously they were having marital issues. She was having affairs outside of her marriage. She was partaking in drugs and alcohol. That would be hard on anybody. He definitely was cleared by police, and I'm pretty sure he's got like a decent alibi because he was at work so late.
true.
Uh,
True about the
but
alibi.
I mean, he did get home at 11:30 p.m.
Also, like, I do definitely think foul play was involved. Like, I will say that I bet you that happened. What a set of circumstances for the person who was involved that 9/11 was the next day, and I think extremely helped influence this being a missing person case for sure.
I think so too.
Wow, this was a wild one.
Wasn't it?
Good one,
I
Jake.
like literally just read like the first couple sentences in the Wikipedia article to be like, what's this case about? Am I even interested in this? And I was like,
Yeah,
I gotta do this. This is so wild.
it is. And I think the fact that, like I said, it's around like right before September 11th is just adds to the wildness.
Yes.
And then her double life obviously adds to it. It's just a wild story. And it's sad. I hope
Yeah.
they get justice, or I hope if she did end up running away, like some of her coworkers think that she's just like living her best life right now, honestly.
Yeah. That's what I hope too if she did run away. I think it's
Yeah.
pretty unlikely, but if she is, if you're out there and you are in a better place, and actually being your true authentic self, that's great.
Yeah. Not the nicest to your family to like do this, but I hope the best for you.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for listening. Wherever you're listening to us right now, please go ahead and make sure you're subscribed. Beep, beep. And you could also give us a nice review that helps people find us. We barely have any reviews, so please help.
Please.
And then you can also follow us on, I say it every time, and I feel like a robot, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube. We are at Bloodshed Betties everywhere.
Send us an email with a case suggestion. We love doing them to bloodshedbaddies@gmail.com, or you can DM us. Intro music made by our awesome cousin Vinny, and he just put out a new album of like 19 songs, I want to say.
Yeah.
Go listen. Tell a friend. Tell your
Doctor.
Oh, doctor. Doctor. And tune in next week for same episode.
Bye bye.
I love you.